10-Minute Jazz Lesson Podcast, episode 452. Hey everybody, welcome back to episode 452 of the 10-Minute Jazz Lesson Podcast. So this is going to be our third one for the month of April, and as most of you know, if you've caught the other ones, we're doing a series of tunes that all have something in common, and it is this particular modulation. And this week we are going to take a peek at a fantastic Antonio Carlos Jobim tune, Triste, and we're actually going to take 2 weeks with this tune because, as any of you know that have learned Jobim tunes before, he's very, very harmonically sophisticated. His tunes tend to be harmonically complex. They take a lot of twists and turns. So what we're going to do this week with Triste, just like we did with Cole Porter's I Love You, and also with the jazz standard Tangerine, is we're going to be looking at this one particular part of the tune. We're going to be looking at the tune through a particular lens, and that is that it, again, just like those other tunes, it modulates up a major third at some point. But the cool part about this tune is that it does a whole bunch of other things as well. Now, I have also, for the Patreon members, I've taken a crack at really reducing this down to a couple of key centers. And actually, to tell you the truth, with all of Jobim's harmonic complexity and twists and turns and really, really interesting, subtle chord changes, even a tune like this can be whittled down to its bare essentials, and you could play a pretty darn good solo just using some key centers on this. So the first thing we want to do is talk a little bit about form, and this one does have a bit of a weird form. So I would say that it's a big A-B form, and this one's a weird one because it's 34 bars long. A 34 bar form. And most of you that have ever played this before or heard this before, you kind of know that at the end, the reason that it's 34 bars is it has this kind of cool little vamp at the end of the tune. But it's in the key of B flat major. At least that's the key that I most often play it in. So we're going to do it in that key. All right, so let's check out this chord progression. And then we are going to locate that modulation. Yeah, we're going to stop there for a second. Anybody want to guess why? Well, there it was. That was the modulation. Now, this one works a little bit differently than the other tunes that we went over, where it's less shocking because we're not coming right from, B flat to D major, right? In typical Jobim fashion, he goes through a lot of harmonic movement before that happens, right? This is how it gets into it. Now we hear the 5 chord of that 3, and then we land on it. So this is like a really, really interesting and different way of modulating into that key of the major 3, or modulating up a major third away from where we were. Okay, so now see if you can pick that out. See if you can find that with your ears as I actually play through the entire progression. 1, 2, 3. amazingly cool progression. And you might want to think about, you may want to rewind that and go and see, hey, does it only modulate to that key once? Does it happen twice? I don't know. This can be kind of a really tough one to wrap your ears around in the way that, again, it's so sophisticated and there's so much movement in it and unexpected movement at that. Like, I love the second half. I love that movement. That's very, very unexpected, but is so beautiful. And if you go and you learn the melody to this tune, be even better. The melody just fits so beautifully with the harmony. I always wonder if somebody wrote the melody first or if they wrote the chords first. I have a feeling that very, very often skews toward melody first, and then you write the harmony to the melody. But I know for a fact that a lot of people will write an interesting chord progression, then write a melody to that. I have a feeling, and I don't know, I'm not a scholar on Antonio Carlos Jobim, maybe some of you are, but I would have a feeling that he wrote the melody to Triste first. So go and check out some recordings of this. There's some great ones out there. You can go check out some original recordings of him actually playing it. There's a fantastic Joe Henderson recording of it. I mean, there's hundreds of them. I just really enjoy that Joe Henderson one off of Double Rainbow, which is actually an entire album of Antonio Carlos Jobim music that Joe Henderson interprets very nicely. Okay, so that's going to do it for this week. For the Patreon members, I'm going to give you those sheets with the key centers so you can start improvising over it immediately and start to latch your ears onto the interesting harmonic movement, but on a really, really big level, if that makes sense. You're not going to get caught up in the minutia of all the chords. You just want to make something sound good around those key centers and be able to hear that modulation, right? That's very similar to what we've been working on all month. So if you're not sure what I'm talking about, Patreon is the platform that we use to support the podcast. We're a listener-supported show. We don't do any advertisements. So instead, we rely on jazz students just like you to support us in the form of a small monthly donation. And in return for that, you get the materials for every single episode so that what we talk about on the show, you can just immediately go and start working on that stuff with no barrier. So if you want to know more about that, you can go to our website, 10minutejazzlesson.com. You can click on one of the Patreon banners, or you can go to patreon.com and you can search for the 10-Minute Jazz Lesson Podcast. As a reminder, I've been saying this the past couple of weeks, Apple has decided that if you sign up in the iOS app for Patreon, they're going to take 30% of your donation and keep it for themselves in perpetuity every single month. So I would urge you, if you can, please just go sign up in a web browser, and then you can use the app. But if you sign up on the app initially, yeah, just 30% of that already very small donation just disappears and goes to their bottom line and not mine. So anyway, we would really appreciate that. Again, patreon.com, search for the 10-Minute Jazz Lesson Podcast, or you can simply go to our website, 10minutejazzlesson.com, click on one of the Patreon banners. All right, hope you enjoy all those resources, and then we are going to dive a little bit deeper into the harmony of this tune next week to wrap up this little series. Hope you're all doing well, and we'll talk to you soon. Bye, everybody.